I'm Jared Thomas Tapey. 25. About to be 26. Probably, if I had to describe it in one word, humanist. Because I felt like there was something lacking from the educational space of social media as it pertains to photography. When I was growing up teaching myself photography on YouTube, everything was about gear and cameras and new lenses and Lightroom presets and this, that, and the other, and I wasn't ever really interested in that, so I didn't really have anybody to sort of teach me the lessons that I try and teach now, so I feel like I wasted a lot of time, and I guess my goal is to not have people waste so much time on these like trivial matters and more so worried about, you know, creating their own unique vision and voice for who they are as an artist, which I guess that's why I started this whole thing. Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. Well, I've got an innate I've got an inability to think about life outside of the photograph. Just constantly kind of thinking in terms of photographs. And I think that probably started around 13. Any camera will do. But I guess Pentax K1000 or Canon AE1 or Canon AE1 program, Canon A1, and Nice Film Club over in Brooklyn. Yes. Emotion. I started, I guess I was just kind of molded by it in my upbringing. My mother was an artist, so I just was always in the creative field. Yes, Nikon D850. Color. Slot. I mean, many artists chase validation because at some point in their life they were probably like an outcast of some sort, I would assume. At least that's what it's been for me. I've always felt like I was on the outskirts of friend groups and everything like that, so I guess we sort of chase that validation because we want to be a part of something. We are a species based solely off of the products of our environment, both good and bad. That is how it's been for eons, and that is how it will always be. That is how we cope with the things going on around the world and in our lives. Free Palestine. Well, I think that many people that are afraid to venture outside of Manhattan, the city, because they're fearful that the New York vibe and what New York is outside of the city is still basically like gang warfare. It's unsafe, which is just ridiculous. Outside of regular people that are afraid to go above Central Park, I guess in terms of photography, it's because it requires something different as a photographer, because it's not as busy as the city is, right? It's much more of a slower pace, and so that sort of distinction between being able to hide within the crowd and then, you know, being pretty visible at times, I would assume is scary for photographers. It requires something totally different, a different mindset. So maybe that's why a lot of people don't photograph outside of the city, but there are too many photographers to count that do photograph outside of the city. I mean, there are countless throughout history. So, I'm manic. I'm obsessive and determined, and have a body riddled with anxiety that I'm never going to be enough. So, it's just a constant thing. Love. Only you can answer that truthfully. You have to step outside of your comfort zone. Try something new. Experiment. Anytime I step out the front door. Misunderstood, yes. But do I really think about it or care about it? No. Not entirely. Its ability to connect me with the world. Without a shadow of a doubt, I don't make work for other people. I make work for myself. I try and think of ways to keep myself from going batshit insane most of the time, and creatively that looks like rubbing my finger into my hand to ease my anxiety, and tapping my fingers to every other finger on my hand. I think that that's pretty creative. And yeah. The best of life. Henry Cartier-Bresson, India, Magnum Streetwise, Vivian Meyer, Colorworks. Can it be both? I think what makes a good photographer is being able to understand that both of those things are important. It's kind of how I created my first book. In Savannah, Georgia, I spent 4 years basically doing the same thing, of going back to the same places and creating a sequence of images that tell a story rather than one just compelling image. But I still think that images like Migrant Mother are incredibly important, and obviously they're persuasive and informative to the general public. So I find that both of those things are important. I couldn't tell you that. It's not my job to think about what the public thinks of my work. Once the image is out of my hands, it's no longer my job to try and reconcile with what other people like or don't like about the image or what the image is saying. So it's not really in my control. I think that they would probably miss, I don't know, my love for Spider-Man. How can one get bored of photographing New York City? There's something new happening here every single day on every single corner at any given time. You can go back to the same corner you went back to an hour ago and it would be completely different. There's an endless possibility of things to photograph here. That just by moving here, it means that all of your wildest dreams are going to come true, and that New York City is going to do you that favor, when in actuality, New York City couldn't give two shits about who you are. Why should it care about you? You have to show New York City why it should care about you. Just by moving here doesn't mean that greatness is made through proximity. So, of course it takes more than it gives. But when it gives, it's very generous. There is no line. I'm there, aren't I? I'm in the middle of whatever is going on. I'm photographing it. I'm a part of the crowd. I don't think that photojournalists are neutral in any aspect. You know, they can claim objectivity, of course. I try to be as objective as possible with the work that I make. I'm undecided in my ways of photographing people, but I'm not neutral. And no photojournalist is. You're in the crowd. You are there. You're not just like an invisible body. So I guess by proximity, I'm there, and I am a part of it. A responsibility to tell the truth of the severity of what's within the frame and the real emotions or repercussions of the things happening around me. Absolutely, there is a responsibility. Of course. Immersion. Total and unequivocal fixation on the people and the world around you. Understanding your own artistic language. There is none. I always equate it to kind of like being an athlete. Whenever you're practicing is when you can ask all the questions and you can hone your craft and you can, worry about things and create a game plan. But once the game starts, you kind of have to throw all of that out the window and just go off of instinct. If I'm too worried about asking myself questions about why I'm necessarily pressing the shutter at a certain time or what makes a compelling image in the moment, then I'll be taken out of the moment and I won't be as attentive. So I don't think of anything when I'm out shooting anymore. I think I used to, but now it's just empty canvas. Everything is romantic. I think 5 years ago I would quantify success. I would give it a metric, but now I don't really have any metrics for success. There is nothing at the end of the day that makes me feel as if it was a successful day or not. It's just more so the repetition of the work, I guess. I just keep moving forward. I understand now that the creative life ebbs and flows, and you have very good moments and you have very bad moments, but that's just the way that living a creative life happens. Emotional instability, yes. My choices, selectivity, and my technical mastery. Repetition. Believing it matters what camera that they use. A camera is just a black box. If you're passionate about wanting to become a photographer, you'll take photographs on anything that you can get your hands on. Does not matter about gear if you're just starting out. Taking as many photographs as possible. By stepping outside of the medium, looking at things like painting, impressionism, and sculpture, film, theater, literature, poetry, the culinary arts. When you expand your horizons in terms of what you're interested in, you become more open to the world around you, and in doing so, you are able to make images that are more connected to the sort of gravitas of the world, I guess, how multidisciplinary the world really is. Don't rush the amateur phase. It's actually one of the more fun aspects of being an artist. I feel like I really rushed the amateur phase, and looking back at it now, I just think about how fun it is to be able to learn something completely new and just be shit at it, and it be okay to be shit at it. A bit of both. Social media has done fantastic things, and we've discovered so many brilliant artists through social media, but we've also discovered so many mediocre artists that have a lot to say and preach online because of social media as well. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. The algorithms. A record of how it felt to be alive within this moment right now. As it pertains to legacy, for me, I could care less. I'm more so interested in the legacy of us as a collective rather than me as an individual. No, not really. Of course, we photographers that are in tune with the world around us know that a photograph is not made without us. Our emotions and our curiosities and our distastes, the things that we don't understand, the things that we enjoy, these are all things that we photograph. So inherently through that, we create those images. And so as a byproduct, every image that we make is a piece of us, which again just kind of ties back to the idea that I don't believe that we are neutral. I have no idea. I don't think about this. I think that if I had to stop photographing, I'd still think about life through photographs. So I don't really know how to turn that off. The theater of life and its never-ending possibilities, FOMO, obsession. I don't hope for my audience to feel any type of way about my work. It's not up to me. Once it leaves my hands, it's completely out of my control. So I know how I can feel about my work, but how somebody else feels about my work is beyond me. Both. I know this to be true because everybody sees things differently. I can notice something that other people don't notice, but I can guarantee you that they notice things that I don't see either. So without a doubt, it's both. The only time that I've thought about time passing is when I'm checking to see where the sun is going to be at what time during the day. Probably growth. I like my early work, but I definitely think that when I look back on it, I was probably not as technically inclined, and I was in an experimentation phase and I hadn't developed my own artistic vision or language. So I was just out there doing anything that interested me. Now I feel like I have a much better understanding of who I am, both as a person and as an artist. So I don't think that he's a completely different person. I think that I've been molded by the people and the characters that I've put on. Why would I need to keep my eyes fresh in a city that is constantly changing, where every single corner is basically like a new theater production? I mean, sure, the stage might be the same, but there's new actors and there's new lighting and new set design, and all of the people within the frame are completely new at any given hour, any given 5 minutes, really. So how could you ever be bored shooting here? With precision, I firmly believe that it's my ability to connect emotionally with the people within the frame that make me see the things that I see. Feel everything. There's no point to photographing if you don't have feelings. It's kind of like, you know, when you go to see a movie and you can tell that the actor is not completely immersed in the role that they are playing, and you know, they just don't quite connect to the character that they're playing, and it shows in their performance. The same sort of mentality can be put towards photographs. If you can just tell when somebody is emotionally distant to the people that they're photographing. All of it. I could care less about editing when I'm out shooting. I never think about it. Without a doubt. Vivian Maier, Jill Friedman, Gordon Parks, Joel Meyerowitz, Martin Parr, William Eggleston, Edward Bertinsky, Stephen Shore, Diane Arbus. I had to unlearn William Eggleston, though, when I first started off. I was trying to be him too much. I think that the making of it started back in 2018, but I really feel like I started to grow into my own artist and my own person probably back in 2025 of last year. You limit the exposure. Unfortunately, these things are kind of like a necessity in today's world. There's no ability to be able to share meaningful work as an artist without participating in social media, at least in my experience. Of course, there are much greater systems that I'm not totally within. You know, I can't possibly be able to fully comprehend the experience of people who live with systemic problems and things like systemic racism and prejudice and things like that, because I am not within those communities fully. I am an outsider to those types of problems. But I think the difference is that I have the ability to empathize. I through my own struggling and through my own times of, you know, being pushed off to the side and taken advantage of, and, you know, when I was younger, bullied and made fun of, I think I'm able to see that many of our struggles as people are not so different on an individual level from one another. All of us kind of struggle with very similar things that have happened within our lives. Am I able to completely understand or be a part of the systemic problems? No, but I'm able to bridge the gap between individual struggle and systemic struggle because of my own personal life, and I can see the responsibility that has to take place in order to document those things in an appropriate way. Even though people have these individual struggles, they're not able to see how systems create these struggles. So yes, of course, I felt like an outsider before, but most people do. Yes. I know it when I see it. I'm more drawn to the emotion of a scene than anything else. No, never. I never use Flash. I care about the moment as it is, and I feel like when you use a Flash, you're basically putting a massive stamp on the photograph that says that you were there. I think it's intrusive. I think that too many people use Flash and think that just because they use Flash means that it's a good photograph. When that couldn't be further from the truth. And I just happen to believe that the scene should just be left as is. The sun is plenty of light enough. Structure. I'm a part of the crowd that believes that you do have a responsibility to the truth of the scene and a responsibility to the people within the frame. But I also fully believe that once the image leaves the artist's hands, it's no longer up to them to try and dictate what their intention was, or what their interpretation was supposed to be. I think that it's kind of convoluted in a way, but that's what I believe. I'm a sort of recluse when it comes to my personal life, so I think that going out into the real world as often as I do is important for me because it creates a sense of collaboration with the people around me. And of course they don't know that they're collaborating with me in any sense, but for me it feels like a collaboration because I am unable to make the work that I do without the people that are outside. So I don't know, I think that my solidarity or my solitude is important for my own mental health, but it's not so important for my work. The state of the world, and money, and people, and love, and food. You know, all the basic things. I'm not really that different from anybody else, so probably whatever you think about in your free time. A life that happens to produce photographs. Every aspect of my life is, you know, geared towards being creative. How much of that actually is achieved? About 50%. The other 50% is just trying to keep moving forward through the struggle to get that 50% up to like 52%. So how successful I am at that, I'm not sure. As fast as possible. Ideas have a shelf life. Yes, the more that you act in a creative manner, the easier it is for you to be creative. Creativity is like a muscle. You have to use it, and the more that you use it, the stronger it is. I'm sort of always creating in my head. Good scenarios, bad scenarios, 10,000 different ideas and shitty ideas, and I don't know, I've always been that way. I don't really know how to turn it off. We are always a product of our environment. I find it much harder to create without some sort of stimulus. An inability to move. Everything. Time, friendships, comfort, flexibility, scheduling, appetite, sleep. All of it. The starving artist trope, I think that that's bullshit. You don't need to be in a constant state of suffering in order to make art. Art should be fun. Art should be, being creative is a gift, and you shouldn't squander it by being so sorrowful all the time. Some of my best work has been made during the happiest moments of my life, so I don't think that you need to be some sort of tortured artist in order to be good. What rewards? I don't need trophies or certifications or a medal to do the work that I do. I don't do it for those reasons. Sure, those things look great on a resume, I guess, or a CV, but for the most part, they're just kind of trivial. It's like the same as getting a diploma nowadays, so there's no real need for me to worry about it. I was 6 when I started photography. My mother, who was very big into art and painting and everything like that, got me a Kodak disposable camera, so I haven't been able to put it down since then.